Hi, my name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a relationship expert. I'm the director for the Center of Self-Differentiation. I've been a relationship expert and coach for 40 years, almost. I'm fortunate enough to be down here in South Beach in Miami, staying at my favorite hotel, the Metropolitan Como Hotel, which I would recommend to anyone. It's a beautiful hotel, and the hotel service is spectacular. They've been so kind in helping me. I work with adult children of narcissists, and I work with many other people who have different problems as well. But I know one of the core group are those who grew up with narcissistic parents, and trying to help them achieve a sense of inner freedom, new life, new direction, and detachment from that old abuse and trauma, and to find their real selves. Today in this video I wanted to share 6 painful core issues which often cause significant pain for adult children of narcissists. There's certainly other core issues, and I'll share more in other videos, but these 6 I wanted to share with you. We only have so much time on a video, and I wanted to try to pack these 6 in. The first one is self-power shedding. We shed our own sense of power. We give our power away to other people. Adult children of alcoholics give their internal and external power away to others. The reason that we do that is when we grew up, or when we've been in relationships with narcissists, we realize that to retain our own sense of power, to retain a sense of self, to have a sense of self, would have caused us more trauma, abuse, discounting, and targeting from narcissists, and particularly narcissistic parents. We couldn't be ourselves when we grew up. It would just be too dangerous, too painful, too difficult. And so we learned to shed that power and give it away to others. As we interact with others, we always make them more powerful than ourselves. And that's to try to keep us safe, and not to be authentic, and not to put ourselves out there where we can be abused, misused, lied to, given excuses to, blamed. We over-own our weakness, our powerlessness, our value, and our low sense of self. We over-own that time and time again. In another paradigm, say in the chemical dependency world or addiction world, some call this codependency. Though I think if you use a family systems view of it, it takes on a different character. And it's that shedding of power that we do in relationships. It's a pattern that happens. For the adult children of narcissists, they experience themselves as nothing, as hidden, as unreal, and invisible. Everyone and everything in life trumps theirs. Remember that the adult child of a narcissist experienced being ground into the ground by the parents that they had when they shed their shame onto their children, which is what narcissists do. Narcissists are always shame shedding. They shed it and focus it towards other people, because at the core of narcissism is an inner deep core of shame that they cannot and have not dealt with. And they shed that onto others. We then end up shedding our powerlessness from ourselves. And again, it ends up crushing the child. So now we live life like we are pancaked with a heel on top of us from our family of origin. Adult children of narcissists give their emotional power away to others while feeling too much and not engaging the thinking process more. They just tend to engage the feeling process more, and then that makes it more difficult for them. Adult children give away their life power as well. their money, their time, their effort, their compliments, their support, etc. And we pour ourselves out, leaving little or nothing left. And this is our overfunctioning to the max. And adult children of narcissists tend to do that. It's not uncommon that adult children of alcoholics do that as well. The second painful core issue is leaving the present. It's also known as dissociation. Wikipedia gives a definition of dissociation, if you've wondered about that. In psychology, it says dissociation is any of a wide array of experiences, from mild detachment from immediate surroundings to more severe detachment from physical and emotional experience. The major characteristic of all dissociative phenomena involves a detachment from reality rather than a loss of reality, as in psychosis. We don't lose reality, we detach from reality. And that's a big difference. Some people say, oh, you mean, well, then I'm psychotic and I just lose reality? No, you detach from reality. You don't lose it, you detach from it. Adult children of alcoholics detach from reality, and this can be true for ACOAs and adult children of abuse who grew up in sexually or physically abusive homes. When things get stressful or frightening for the adult child, or very confrontational, we just check out. We just aren't there. Then we come back to ourselves and clean up the damage, and often then just feel crazy and worthless and very abnormal. We also dissociate by flight, freezing, and triangulating. Those are all things that we want to get away from the reality of the situation right now. And in another video, I talk about flight, freezing, triangulating, and then what we want to do is think and begin to think and be mature and process what's going on up here. Rather than just living from our lower brain, we want to process from our higher brain. Again, adult children have memory loss. They kind of gray out. They have a sense of disconnection from oneself and from the surroundings. Here are some examples of what people say when dissociation occurs. I explode at my husband and can't remember what I said. I just don't feel real. I'm just doing things automatically. I can become so totally concerned about what people are thinking of me or expecting from me when I'm talking to them that I become lost. I lose me. I couldn't remember whether it really happened or I imagined it happened. I don't feel like myself. I feel like some other person inside. Those are some examples of dissociation. There are many others as well. Thirdly, a core issue, feeling isolated. Feeling isolated even in a crowd, and have few to no peaceful or stable relationships. Doesn't mean we're not married, doesn't mean we have friends, but oftentimes those relationships can be rocky, roller coasterish, have all kinds of instability in them. Most have a roller coaster element in those relationships, or what I call bipolar relationships or bipolar marriages. Adult children of narcissists have a love-hate fear relationship and abandonment fear in their relationships. Again, feeling very isolated in their own little stovepipe. Adult children of narcissists are overwhelmed by other people. That's very common. If you've been abused verbally, physically, emotionally, sexually by narcissistic parents growing up, then you will be overwhelmed and feel overwhelmed just being with other people. They experience only conditional love from others. That the whole world is built on conditional love and conditional acceptance. They experience relationships as having one foot on the brake and one foot on the accelerator most of the time. And they never know whether they want to go or stop, or go or stop, or go or stop. And sometimes they'll just jam on both and have lots of stress and anxiety as it goes up, and end up burning up the engine, or themselves, and not really going anywhere. Sartre, the philosopher, said something and wrote something very poignant, I think, for this. He said, hell is other people. And I think that sums up many times the experience of relationships for adult children of narcissists. Fourth painful and core issue, unresolved intergenerational trauma. Oftentimes, narcissistic parents were abused by other narcissistic or alcoholic parents or abusive parents who were abused by their parents, who were abused by their parents, and there's an intergenerational transmission of that trauma and pain on down to us. From narcissistic abuse, emotional and physical, from shame shedding by narcissistic parents or parents, and creates frequent and intense reactivity in us, or PTSD, feelings of desolation. This family brain, I would call it, or lower brain or limbic brain that we learned growing up in our family of origin, we have inherited from that intergenerational trauma. This guides and pings our feeling system. The emotional system is not felt, but it is triggered. The feeling system is conscious and felt, and we have feelings. And one of the things I work with people is to help them heal and resolve and grow up their emotional system, not just deal with the feelings that come as a result of it, or to change that system within them. For example, denial and believing we had loving parents. That is a belief that comes out of the trauma, the narcissistic trauma. I love my parents. I know they love me. However much, if anything, and all they do doesn't say they know how to love someone. But I still believe that. Intense shame from the shame shedding. Hypervigilance when interacting with others. Too much awareness, too much sensitivity, too much emotionality or feelings because of this unresolved intergenerational trauma. And then we have the internalized abuse and shame and criticism that's stuck right in here. And so to resolve that resolves the intergenerational trauma. Fifthly, the adult child of narcissists have a negative, grandiose fantasy. There's a grandiosity about them. Now let me tell you what that means. Grandiose in a negative way is how an adult child of a narcissist would experience it. The narcissist has a grandiosity that is in a positive way. They see themselves as way too wonderful, way too great, way too fantastic. They can affect the whole world. They can affect their children. They can affect everybody. Everybody needs to do their bidding and come on bended knee to them. The adult child of narcissist also has a grandiosity, but it's a negative. I'm so special because I'm not special at all. I'm so powerful because I feel powerless. We then feel over-responsible for everything, everybody, and all things, others' feelings, others' reactivity, others' disappointments and judgments. And the reason why relationships fail is it's all my fault. Why they succeed, it must be what I'm doing right, or adjusting, or pandering, or helping make the relationship work, and that's why it worked. It seems everything is my fault and is at my control. That's very, very grandiose. And it causes us a lot of anxiety and a lot of pain. Everyone sees me. Everyone's always watching me. Everybody's aware of me and thinks about me. No one would ever want to be a friend to me. No one in the world. Very grandiose. And even I say we feel responsible for the weather. And again, it's a very grandiose negative. And I mean responsible for the weather in a negative way. If it rained, well, what did I do wrong? We were going to have a picnic, now we had bad weather. Well, I probably didn't do something right or displeased God or something. Very grandiose. Stop thinking you are so special. Learn a healthy specialness, not a grandiose specialness. That you can upset everyone that much that you know you're not that important or not that powerful. That can be very freeing if we can come to believe that and understand that. Narcissistic parents so crush us that we feel so desolate that we learn to believe we affect everything in a negative way and that we're special, in quotes, in that way. We want to heal that negative specialness. I'm not special. I'm just a human like everybody else. I'm going to be on this earth and then not be on this earth. And that's okay. I don't have that much power. I can't cause all the problems people think I can cause. And I certainly can't cause all their feelings because I'm not that powerful, not that special. Because if I can cause all the negative feelings in you, then I ought to be able to cause all the positive feelings in you. And I've found that to be very difficult to do. And believe me, for decades I tried. Sixthly, enmeshment and over-closeness. Adult children of narcissists lack emotional detachment. They lack self-differentiation. They lack separateness. They're too fused with their narcissist and their family of origin. And they carry that fusion on into their later adult relationships. This creates feelings of loneliness, isolation, detachment from self and others. And again, it's because I'm so attached. We're overly attached. We're overly blended together rather than self-differentiated. Here's unhealthy distance, here's unhealthy closeness, here's self-differentiation. And again, relationships are paradoxical, and I'll mention that in a moment. Adult children try to fix this with more closeness, fusion, and attachment, which results in bad marriages, friendships, work relationships, all kinds of difficult relationships, because we're pushing the wrong way. We're over close, but we think the solution is more closeness because we feel kind of distant inside and kind of isolated. So we misread our relationship system and do what's intuitive, which only gets us into more trouble, rather than doing what's counterintuitive. I don't know if you've seen those Chinese bamboo finger cuffs that you stick your fingers in them, and then when you pull, they tighten. I was going to bring some on the trip, and I forgot to do it. Push those in, then pull. It's intuitive for us to pull out of that bamboo stricture. But the way you get out of it is to push in and then pull out. And that's counterintuitive. Same way with relationships. Relationships and systems thinking tells us relationships work paradoxically. To get close, we must get some distance, resulting from our abuse and our trauma. That distance makes intimacy happen. Over closeness keeps intimacy from happening. And when I work with marriages so often, the couple is over close and they're trying to get closer and be intimate. And I keep telling them, if you could learn to be more independent, and if I can use that word, more differentiated, more distance between you, you might be able to come together and be more close as a couple. If you want help with these 6 painful core issues, Contact me to schedule one-on-one sessions with you to help you free yourself from that helplessness, despair, rage, self-pity, self-loathing, and enmeshment, and all the ways that we're stuck emotionally or in relationally. I work as a self-expert. I hope you'll contact me. My contact information is on the screen. You can also, I hope you will join my YouTube channel, Jerry Wise Relationship Systems on YouTube. The same name for my Facebook webpage. And I do have a website, jerrywiserelationshipsystems.com. And I hope you'll continue to follow my videos. I've got several videos that are coming very quickly. And I want to thank you today for joining me down in sunny Miami here, and I hope you have a great day.